I used to think horror belonged to specific places, abandoned houses, old roads, dead-end towns. But what happened to me followed me across 5 completely different countries. It started in New York, then appeared again in Toronto, then London, then Melbourne, and finally Auckland. Each time, it was the same man, or at least the same face. A silent, expressionless man who stood just close enough for me to feel a knot twist in my stomach. I kept telling myself it was coincidence, until he whispered my name in a city I had never visited before. I'm a 29-year-old guy who travels a lot for work, and I never believed in anything supernatural. I still don't know if what followed me across 5 countries was a person or something pretending to be one. My first encounter happened in Manhattan. It was past midnight. I remember my throat feeling dry as I walked back to my hotel after dinner. I kept glancing behind me, not because I was scared, but because the street felt unusually empty for New York. Then I noticed him, a man standing perfectly still at the far end of the block. He wasn't doing anything, just facing my direction. No phone in hand. No movement. Just watching. I swallowed hard and picked up my pace, pretending to ignore him. I told myself, stop overthinking. It's just New York. People are weird. But as I reached the hotel door, I heard something that froze me. A text from an unknown number. Why are you walking faster? My heart dropped. I looked back, the man was gone. Completely gone. No footsteps, no turning, nothing. Just an empty sidewalk. I tried to shake it off. Maybe someone saw me from a window. Maybe a prank. I slept horribly that night. Every creak made me flinch. 2 weeks later, I flew to Toronto for another assignment. I had almost forgotten about the New York incident. But on my second night, while walking near the harborfront, I noticed a tall figure leaning against a railing, staring at the water. His posture, the stillness, it felt familiar. I whispered to myself, no way. When he turned, I felt a jolt shoot through my stomach. It was the same face. Same emotionless stare. Same posture. Same height. I froze in place, my hands suddenly shaky. He started walking toward me, not running, not rushing, just walking with purpose. I stepped backward instinctively. When I blinked, he vanished. A family walked past me, a cyclist rode by. Nobody reacted. Nobody looked alarmed. It was like I hallucinated him, but I knew I didn't. That stare was burned into my memory. I cut my trip short and flew to London for a project I couldn't cancel. London should have felt different. More crowded. Safer. But on my third night, waiting for the tube at Liverpool Street Station, I felt something tighten in my chest. A strange instinct, I can't explain it. I felt watched. And then I saw him. Across the platform. Unmoving. Staring. This time, he raised his hand slowly, and pointed at me. I swear my heartbeat felt like it might crack my ribs. I stepped behind a group of commuters, trying to hide. When a train rushed in, I used the crowd to slip inside. But as the train pulled away, I saw him standing inches from the glass. I flew to Australia a week later, hoping distance would help. Melbourne was calm, sunny, friendly. For 2 days, I actually felt normal again. I even laughed at myself for being paranoid. But on the third morning, outside my Airbnb, I saw someone standing under a gum tree, completely still. His clothes were different now, local style, lighter fabric, but the face, that same face. Expressionless. Cold. Focused only on me. I stepped back into the Airbnb and locked the door with trembling fingers. I'm not proud of this, but I hid in the bathroom for almost an hour. When I finally checked outside, he was gone again. I cancelled all remaining travel except one final job in Auckland, New Zealand. I needed the money too badly to say no. But deep down, I knew I shouldn't go. Still, I convinced myself it was a real person stalking me. That was somehow less scary. Auckland felt peaceful at first. Clean air. Quiet evenings. I stayed in a small hotel near the harbor. On my second night, I went out for a walk. The path was empty except for the hum of the water. Then I heard it. Someone whispering my name. I spun around so fast I almost slipped. He was standing right behind me. Not far. Not across the street. Behind me. Closer than ever. So close I could see the tiny details of his face. Except, there were none. It was blank. Featureless. Like skin stretched where eyes and mouth should be. I staggered backward, gasping. "Who are you?" I blurted out, my voice cracking. He tilted his head slightly, almost curious. Then he whispered in a voice that didn't match any human emotion. "You've seen me before." And suddenly the lights flickered, and he vanished. I ran back to the hotel so fast my sides hurt, slamming the door behind me. My hands were shaking uncontrollably. I kept whispering, "This isn't real, this isn't real." But as I collapsed onto the bed, I saw something under the door. A shadow. His shadow. Moving slowly back and forth. I didn't sleep at all that night. When the sun finally came up, the shadow disappeared. I wanted to leave immediately, but my flight wasn't until evening. I spent the day in crowded places, cafes, busy streets, shopping centers, hoping safety in numbers would help. But I kept feeling eyes on me. At the airport, I stood near a window, trying to calm myself. I told myself I'd be safe once I flew home. That it would be over. But the reflection in the window showed someone behind me. Tall. Still. And when I turned around, he whispered, "Next time you travel, I'll be there." My legs almost gave out. I backed away so fast I bumped into a security officer. When I turned again, no one was there. I didn't tell anyone because, what would I even say? How do you explain a guy who appears in 5 countries and disappears like smoke? Even now, months later, in my own home, I still feel watched sometimes. I'll catch a dark shape in the corner of a window. Or hear faint breathing when I'm alone. But the worst part. Last week, I got another text from the same unknown number. Where to next? I haven't traveled since Auckland. But sometimes I think about it, what if he's not tied to places, but to me? What if it wasn't a man at all? Or worse, what if it was? And he's still out there, learning, changing, watching. Last night, while lying in bed, I heard footsteps outside my apartment door. Slow. Deliberate. I forced myself not to move, barely breathing, my heart pounding against my ribs. And then, a whisper right outside the door. I travel too. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't speak. I just lay there listening until the footsteps faded. Today, I installed extra locks. But deep down, I know it won't matter. Because he doesn't follow borders. Or airports. Or continents. He follows me. I'm writing this now hoping someone recognizes this pattern. Hoping someone else has seen him in different countries too. Because if he shows up again, I don't think I'll be able to outrun him anymore. And the scariest part? I haven't traveled in months. But last night, I saw luggage marks on my carpet.